What makes some people choose dysfunctional self-sabotaging strategies in their childhood? Why did they choose to go that route?
You know, you've got to remember that it's self-sabotaging and dysfunctional as an adult.
Hmm.
But when you look at the decision that the child made and the intention it made it with at the time, it was actually really perfectly adapted to the situation it was in. It was actually highly intelligent.
Hmm.
And it really makes a difference when somebody can see this because, in our adulthood, when we behaving badly, you've just had a meltdown,
Hmm.
you've screamed and shouted at
Hmm.
someone and said some things that you wished you hadn't.
Hmm.
Your inner critic may berate you for that and beat you up and,
Hmm.
to call you stupid and an idiot and whatever,
Yeah.
because it is dysfunctional behavior. You've affected that relationship. But when you reverse engineer it to to childhood and why the child came up with that behavior to
Hmm.
protect itself,
Hmm.
you realize that actually it was highly intelligent and that it was often the only decision that the child could make. So often if it is an angry
Hmm.
outburst, that usually comes from teenage years.
Hmm.
So a child who has felt either shamed or fearful, or in some kind of or hurt when they're little,
Hmm.
in a difficult family situation or
Hmm.
school situation. It's not always in the family. When they get to teenage years, they suddenly get their voice and realize that if they get big and loud and angry, people leave them alone.
Hmm.
So they use that as a compensation
Hmm.
mechanism. And if it works for them,
Hmm.
it's often the only way that they can stop people from hurting them or scaring them. So if it works for them, they continue to use it. By the time that, 3 or 4 decades later, it's
Hmm.
become their go-to pattern.
Hmm.
Anybody threatens them, they just get in their faces and shout. It gets the other person to back down. It works.
Okay.
But it doesn't engender good relationships. So sometimes
Okay.
they need to do something about
Yeah.
it and find a more adaptable
Mm.
way of,
More appropriate.
or appropriate way
Mm.
of interacting.